But when we're talking about rights, we're talking about what are my rights versus what are your rights. And one of the greatest problems we're having right now, why everybody's yelling impeach to the president, is that he is literally taking away our rights. He has done so by lying. He has literally told people as he went into office that he would support certain people, certain ways of living, certain opportunities that people have to choose who they will live with, who they will love, and how they will live their lives. He has slowly been taking that opportunity away from us, and openly we have no rights to do things. In life, we have moments of time where there are people who like to voyeur on our life, who like to follow us on our computers or follow us online, and the answer is no. I'm not interested in you in my life is not something we say very often or very impolitely. We simply make a decision. Is this person aligning themselves in a way that makes sense for me to continue the relationship or not? Or are they outside the parameters of my life? When you really deeply care for someone, it's hard to sometimes let them go. But there's usually some sort of dialogue that creates that I think we're done sort of situation. And at the same time, there are monsters in the world who don't know how to handle those situations and don't ever try to work for peace. Now, we have several political candidates who are trying to bring about the concept of peacemaking in America. You see, if we had more people thinking about peace, then we'd have less trash on the streets. We'd have less problems in their communities. And you know what is absolutely ridiculous? That it takes 10 some squad cars to be downtown in Broad Ripple on a Saturday night because allegedly, apparently, the children of certain communities have not learned that their rights end with themselves. That they think they have the right to blast their music flying through the community going way too fast to the point that they could really knock someone over who's a little inebriated and who's walking in the streets thinking that this is a walking community. And yet you've got people driving like bat out of hell in their hopsters or hoopties or whatever the hell they're called today. I'm an old man, so I don't really know the language of the day. But I'm not also saying and disparaging any communities. I'm saying these people have not learned where their rights are. I watch people throw things on the ground and I just want to pick up my white bat and bash them for it because I am not there to pick their trash up, and neither is someone else who gets paid to pick their trash up. In Japan, they kind of have a policy, you take it with you. That means that if you go and you have a lovely parkside luncheon, you pick up all your trash and you carry it home and you throw it away. It doesn't mean they don't have trash receptacles, and that's something communities are killing themselves with, that they don't want to pick up everybody else's trash, which is foolish. If they don't allow us to have trash receptacles, if they make a monstrous ordeal about whose trash can be put in what bin, then we don't have a community that cares for one another. The truth is we sometimes need to throw stuff away so that we don't have a mess all over our clothes or a mess all over our fingertips or a mess all over our child, and we need to have the ability to do that. It's also really important that we make sure that we're not getting involved with other people's lives to the point that we're violating their federal rights. And their federal rights are their federal rights. Your federal rights are your federal rights. And when you mull around and you think you're going to put a play on somebody because you think you have the lawful right to do it, you really don't. You certainly don't have it in God's house, which is what I talk about the most, because people don't have a fear of other people today. They do, but they don't. They're cautious, they're careful, they'll tell people wonderful little polite lies, and then they'll never talk to them again. And that's in their lifeline, not in mine. But in truth, the other morning, I had a situation where I was seated, literally finishing up some food I had just procured from an establishment that is caring about the community and is literally providing food to people who are struggling with employment or struggling with making a sale or struggling to provide for themselves. And while there was tons of people there who may or may not truly have needed that free food, they were all being provided for. The challenge was, for the people who are like me, who are truly living in the streets, there wasn't a lot of food. And the food that I procured only lasted 1 or 2 days. In life, we have moments of time to help people, and if you're concerned about homelessness, or if you think that you are 2 to 3 paychecks away from homelessness, in the fact that we live in an at-will state, which means that they can fire your little bottom at any time, at any moment, with no explanation whatsoever, and you're not socking away money for retirement, you might want to rethink your life a little. It might mean you have to take on additional jobs, sure. It might mean you have to take on additional thinking about how wealth is developed, and you're a big boy or a big girl, so you can read Robert Kiyosaki's book on Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or Cash Flow Quadrants to figure out how wealth is acquired in the world. But you have to make a change, and you have to be willing to make that change without somebody monkeying you over. The problem is we have so many people in the world who think they have the right to monkey someone's life over. that they just want to keep making that person's life miserable after that individual went to find help. And instead of getting the help they specifically were looking for, like self-protection or the right to bear arms to protect our lives from the monsters who think they have the right to steal from us, to harm us, to rape us, to destroy us, to ruin our bodies, to shave us in the night when we don't allow it in the day because we're not awake, is outlandish. I had a young man threaten to cut my beard off. Let me tell you, the minute he said that to me, out came my white baton in self-defense. He made a vile threat, which under the law means I can defend myself. I know this because I taught self-protection for many years, and I doubt I still have that marketing material still in my storage unit because of the way that the law has been ruining my life. But the truth is, I have the right to protect myself. The right to bear arms tells us that we have the right to protect our families, our lives from harm. The right to life is not just about abortion and other things. It's the right for me to choose my life path without you thinking you have the right to illegally, immorally destroy my legal documents, my legal records, my legal rights to my life insurance policies, my legal rights to choose any damn heir I want to. And when I talk like this, I'm being real. I'm in a college town for a reason. I want young people to recognize that they have one life to live and that there's sort of a pattern of how we produce a life and how we produce a retirement. And if they're not thinking about it now, they will lose in the end. Lots of people I know at my age do not have a retirement. They think they do because maybe their husband or wife is a teacher, but there's not enough there really to live on. And the truth is they've not planned well, and we're not being told the truth about how much it costs to live out our days. We're not being trained at that at all in any school level, and if they've started to, wonderful, but I highly doubt it. In life, we have moments of time to make a difference for people. That's always been my motto. And yesterday, the Lord said to me, she has not eaten at all today. So even though I just picked up a bunch of food for myself, I realized I couldn't eat it all in the time that it would spoil. So I simply opened my bag and said, here, this is the food I have. Which of these packages would you like so that you can have some nourishment today? I wasn't going to pick what she was going to take. I was going to let her choose from what I offered so that she could have what she needed. She pointed to a package that was connected to another, and I realized, you know what, I can't eat all of these, I'm just going to give her the two that were connected. Now, it meant she had some similar food, but she also had a dog to feed, and she had another mouth of a friend that she stays with that also needed to be fed. So I knew it was fine to give her that food. Then I asked her if she liked fruit. She did, and I can't eat a lot of fruit, so I gave her both bags of fruit. I don't know what else I gave her in the process, but she needed to eat, and I don't like to see young people wasting their lives not taking care of others. So in my life, I still have hopefully a little food in my bag, but I sleep on a park bench, and someone could open my bag at any moment. But when they do that, they violate federal law. When they open my pants pockets, they violate the law. When they touch me in any way, they literally commit a rape because it's not their lawful right to touch me. It is not their lawful right to do that. I've had that happen on multiple occasions by law enforcement who would not allow me the dignity of taking things out of secret pockets in my pants that I had to allow some stranger to put their hands down my pants to get into my pockets. It's ridiculousness. It's a violation of my rights, it's a violation of my body, and openly, it's a rudeness beyond compare. But in life, someone thought they'd monkey my life over, and it began at an apartment complex with immoral, illegal, illicit people, and instead of those law enforcement officers taking them to task, they screwed my life instead. And that's the truth. Now, in life, we have moments of time to be something to someone, and I've asked one person to show up with maturity and be that person. The problem is she's terrified. And why is she terrified? Because she chose to be terrified. Why else is she terrified? Because she's madly in love with me and she's too afraid to admit it. Because otherwise, a mature woman would come and talk to me. The reality is that people lie to themselves all the time about their feelings. And when I say this, the Lord knows that soul. The Lord knows every single soul. How could I have possibly known that young woman had not eaten today and gotten that validation if he wasn't speaking to me loud and clear? In life, we have moments of time to prove who we are, and in my house, God comes first. And then comes someone I love. My Japanese family knows that even to this day. Even though my Japanese spouse is now with someone else and allegedly happy, I don't buy it completely, but she's content in her home country. She chose that path, and openly, it's her right to do so. The sad thing is,